down, Jacksonville. Mia O'Brien, your second favorite media mogul here to give you the rundown on everything that's going on in the wide world of sports this weekend in Jacksonville. As always, let's begin with your hometown Jacksonville Jaguars. Roster cuts, waiver wire claims. What does it all mean? Well, obviously, the Jaguars had to get their roster down to 53 players by 4 o'clock this past Tuesday. They made 5 waiver wire claims, with the top priority on that waiver wire. That included a kicker. Yes, they had 2 on the original 53-man roster, waived both of them in favor of Riley Patterson out of Memphis. He was 13 of 14 on field goal attempts with the Detroit Lions last year. The Jaguars say that he is a guy that they have had their eye on throughout the course of the preseason. Is he finally the kicker for the Jags? I guess time will tell. The other interesting name to come out of those 5 waiver wire claims is Kendrick Pryor, the rookie undrafted free agent out of Wisconsin who spent the preseason with the Cincinnati Bengals. From all accounts across the board up in the Queen City in Cincinnati. I think they're the Queen City too, right? All I know is they have Skyline Chili. And apparently this guy, Kendrick Pryor, was lighting it up for the Bengals throughout the course of the last few weeks. In fact, Zach Taylor, the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals, called his brother Press Taylor, the offensive coordinator of the Jacksonville Jaguars, to complain that the Jaguars were taking a young wide receiver who the Bengals were really excited to cultivate. At the end of the day, the Bengals wide receiving core, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. Yeah, I think all 3 of those guys are a little bit better than all the wide receivers here in Jacksonville, Florida. And so Kendrick Pryor was never really going to see the field. And so instead he comes to Jacksonville with an opportunity to be a spark, as he told reporters on Thursday here in Duval County. All right, college football week 1. Last week was just the appetizer. Now it's time for the whole entree, folks. Utah at Florida. I know Devin Lloyd making his first trip down to Gainesville to see his Utes against the Gators in the Swamp in Billy Napier's debut. What is going to happen in the Swamp this weekend? Will the Gators pull off the win? 3-point dogs, 2-point dogs, according to my friends over at MyBookie. In my opinion, if it can be a competitive game, if it truly lives up to what the odds makers in Vegas are saying, and this is a 2 or 3-point game against the number 8 team in the country, you as Florida Gator fans out there should be happy. Because not only is this Billy Napier's first game as the head coach of a Power 5 program, but this is a roster that really isn't that good. It has been decimated by 3 years of Dan Mullen not recruiting, not just here in Florida, but the entire nation. Anthony Richardson, for the Gators to have any success both in this game and this season, is going to have to provide more than 60% of the offense. Quite frankly, that's a little unsustainable for a guy that only has around 70 career pass attempts and hasn't been able to stay healthy over the course of his 2 years. Our guy Denny Thompson assures us that Anthony is healthy, Anthony is durable, and I believe that. At the same time, that's a pretty tall task for the redshirt sophomore in just his first season. His first season as the starting QB in Gainesville. For the Noles and LSU down in New Orleans, I think it's much of the same. I've been saying this on XL Primetime. If you can create a similar magical environment to what we saw when the Noles hosted Notre Dame last year, week 1, on that Sunday night standalone game, you should be happy, because as much as this is a neutral site game, you know that the purple and gold of LSU are going to be filling those seats. I think Brian Kelly, as much as he doesn't know who his quarterback is, he knows who his quarterback is, and he knows he's got a pretty darn good roster that's going to match up against a Florida State team that, much like Florida, is still suffering from years of lack of recruitment. Here locally, our guy, Hacker's High School Football Tour, and myself traveled down to Bartram Trail earlier this week to speak with future Florida Gator Sharif Denson. Really impressed with the 4-star corner. He was the first major recruit locally to commit to the Gators, and that's how they really got on that run with Marcus Stokes, Trayon Webb, Jaden Robinson out of Lake City, Columbia. And I was really impressed with not only how eloquent of an interview he was, but how much he understands the game between the ears and how much he appreciates his head coach, Darryl Sutherland, the only head coach Bartram Trail has ever had, and how much Coach Sutherland preaches being leaders, being men, the work off the field. And he says that Billy Napier is trying to build a similar culture down in Gainesville. That's all we got today, ladies and gents. Be sure to check out week 2 of the high school football season here in Florida, week 3 up north of the border in Georgia. Sit back, relax, and enjoy a beautiful weekend, hopefully a little bit less rain. College football week 1 week out from the Jaguars season opener in Washington. We'll see you next time on Jacksonville's Weekend in Sports.